As with any change, there are some folks and people who do not like what we are suggesting. But let me make it very clear that we have done an incredible outreach program with our staff. Since 2008, we have held 79 public meetings. We have had public reviews at our board meetings, and we have established community working groups, and that is on top of the hundreds and hundreds of meetings that we've had with individuals, stakeholders, community, and voting groups. And we listen. We have been criticized by you and others for not listening, but we have a new team in place which understands the importance of listening and asking for input. We took that feedback, we heard, and made significant changes to our plans, even when we didn't necessarily agree. We scrapped some projects and made significant changes to others. Commissioners, we have been listening to you, your staff, all the stakeholders and constituents, and believe that we have created and improved public access, recreation, and affordable visitor-serving opportunities for the marina for everyone. Marina del Rey is a unique place with incredible opportunity and potential. It has been very disheartening for me to watch and wait as our redevelopment projects have languished for years.
Would our representatives from Marina del Rey please stand up? You came a long way today. There they are. I've been a yacht broker in Marina del Rey at Pier 44 for some 23 years. And we have an insurance policy, a liability policy for $1 million for that length of time. Never have we ever had an inspector come out till this year in order to renew our policy because of the deterioration and the sad condition of the docks and the buildings in Marina del Rey. There is a lot of empty 25 and 30-foot slips throughout Marina del Rey, but there isn't any dry storage. And the boat owner at that level has a choice to rent all the slips he can. They're there, they're available for him, but he doesn't have the dry storage facility that he desperately needs.
My name is Jorge Espas. I'm one of the dock master in Marina del Rey, and very quickly I just want to reiterate the obvious. We have a lot of marinas that were built in the 60s. They're outdated, they're unsafe. The Chilean tsunami didn't help. We got parcel 21 10 years ago with vacancies. We still have vacancies. We actually have more vacancies. And those are marina of the 60s, and we need to bring him into the present. As far as
my name is Rasul Visram. I am a boat captain. I am a yacht management. I've been in Marina del Rey since 1983. No one has ever called me on a 25-foot vessel to install $10,000 worth of electronics, give them aid running their boat, or hire me to take them to Mexico. We need bigger slips in Marina del Rey. Thank you.
And I just wanted to bring a fact that most commissioners don't know. In 1986, Catalina Yachts, I happen to have one right now, mine's a 36, and I was lucky enough to find a slip, 35-foot slip. But in 1986, Catalina Yachts realized there was a shortage of 35-foot slips. Now, you have to put a 36-foot boat in a 35-foot slip, because that's how they come. They're 35 feet and 30 feet, 25 feet, and so on. But they built the 34 Catalina specifically to go into a 30-foot slip. Now, when a boat manufacturer who's no longer in the state taking jobs and things away builds a boat for the available slips, something's wrong.
My name is Larry Koch, and I'd like to urge the commissioners to proceed with these redevelopments. We need them sorely in the marina. I urge you to realize that every one of the Save the Marina people who contacted you ex parte asked for a continuance. That's all they've done for the last 10 years is ask for continuances. If they had their way, they would level every building in the marina and turn the entire thing back into a park. That's unacceptable for everybody.
Andy Bissett, President, Marina Boat Owners Association. Approval of this LCP amendment will bring to nearly 2,000 the number of boat slips lost since our marina was developed, with 6,200 boat slips. Why? Because they want the boat owner parking for other, more profitable development. What are we going to get for this? We're going to get dry stack valet boat parking for the powerboat parking for the wealthy. We're going to get luxury residences for the wealthy on the water. We're going to get shopping centers on the water. How'd they do this? How about they lied to us? The county, all the corrupt officials, they manufactured vacancies on the boat slips. They fabricated from whole cloth these, quote, studies to prove their point. With their soft hands and hard hearts and an air of dignity to cover up their cold storage of their shabby little souls. They've taken away our access to the water, mostly sailboats. Every one of those people, everyone who has contributed to that for money or favors, you get an idea what I think of you.
I'm Tom Oliger.
Hi, my name's Jon Nahhas.
So I've heard a lot of complaints today about the dilapidation of Marina del Rey's docks. And the maintenance of the docks is the lessee's responsibility. And this neglect of these docks, along with the major hikes in slip fees throughout the years, has helped create the high vacancy rates that are now being used to justify the reductions of small boat slips and parking spaces. And also, the remote location for this hearing has left many Marina del Rey residents opposed to this development severely underrepresented in this room, and this process should be continued into January.
And I just wanted to remind the commissioners that Marina del Rey was built with one thing in mind: recreational boating. It was not for residences. It was not for commercial development. This whole concept was about recreational boating, and it has morphed and changed over time with certain economic reasons, for certain economic reasons. In October 2007, we came to the Coastal Commission. We said the lessees are now charging these abnormally high slip fee increases. We got no response in October. In January 2008, we came to the Commission. You were 6 hours of testimony on Marina del Rey LCP periodic review. Many of our voters talked about these huge, outrageous slip fee increases, how the market just went out of control.
But the Coastal Commission does not have the authority to deal with rent.
So then Peter says, you don't have the ability to deal with rent. You cannot control pricing as a Coastal Commission. And here you see the abnormal vacancy rates. And this is where we think that the leases have been ignored and the Coastal Act has been violated. With no relief on slip fees and from LA County or from the Coastal Commission, vacancy rates started climbing. And you see the result. Vacancies were created to give an appearance of low demand. We approached the Coastal Commission 3 times in 2010 and 2011, and we said, we're at DEFCON 3, we're at DEFCON 2, we're at DEFCON 1. Now we're 18% vacancy rate. Could you please help us? Our public access was being denied, and there was no adjustment to the slip fees. Absent from the staff report is any kind of historical reference on what was happening. In 1994, you guys were hit up for slips reduced. In 1996, you were hit up again. In 1999, you were hit up. In 2001, 260 slips were reduced. In 2003, another 220 slips gone from piecemeal planning. You finally put your foot down in December 2003, and you said, you can't keep doing this. You can't keep on reducing these boat slips. That was Patrick Kruer. The response was, from the harbor director of the county, we're done. There will be no more slip reductions. January 2008, Coastal Commission again put its foot down and said there will be no more slip reductions in the LCP periodic review. We've heard from all the boaters, we cannot keep on reducing public access in Marina del Rey. Dry stack storage is mitigation. Look what kind of boats are going to be in dry stack storage. This is not mitigation. Only power boats can go in dry stack storage. Use of dry stack storage for refugee boats. Unaffordable. This state-of-the-art facility is somewhere between $30 and $40 per foot. As Commissioner Stone has said, most of these boats are untrailable and unstackable.
Thank you.
Hi, Santos Kryman, the Director of Beaches and Harbors. Well, 6 minutes and 50 seconds left, and I can't tell you how excited I am. Actually, it's been a long haul for us, and I really want to say thank you to staff once again. Did a wonderful job, members of my staff, but there's one group that I did not thank before, and I was remiss. I do want to thank the members of the public who did a wonderful job of refocusing us and really challenging us to build, to produce a very balanced approach, a balanced development plan. And that's what we have here, significantly different than when we were here in 2008. We listened. That was one of the things that Supervisor Knabe made very clear to me when I became the Director of Beaches and Harbors. And we did listen. Despite what you've heard, there were 79 public meetings. And I can tell you, when I first came on board, I met with anybody that wanted to meet with me. Anyone. Anywhere I would travel to wherever they wanted to go. And I met with them. And I listened. And we recrafted this plan. We worked with the environmental community. We had all of our stuff peer reviewed. There was a comment about an LA Audubon official saying that they officially don't really care for our plan. Well, I also have a letter from the LA Audubon, and I also have an email from a member of the Audubon that says that that is their official position, that being the conservation and management plan that was presented to you by John Engel, and thank you very much for that. That is their official position. And when they voted on it, of course it wasn't unanimous. There were some minority opinions in that. And I believe, I've never seen that particular email, but I can guarantee you that that opinion was in the minority. So I have a letter for the LA Audubon that says, this is our plan. It's a great plan. We worked it out. We've done two things. We've done a lot of things. Changed the plan, lowered the density, took care of traffic. We've done everything that we've been asked to. And I ask for your support, and thank you very much.
And when my wife and I used to walk 3 times a week for an hour at a time around Marina del Rey, we walked on those promenades and walked by those docks, and we watched them deteriorate. And so this is a meaningful part of my life. I'm a boater. Once you're a boater, you're always a boater. And I was telling my fellow commissioners at lunch today that you get 10 boaters together, you'll get 10 different opinions of anything. What bait to use, what rope to tie, what fuel place to purchase. It's just our natural nature. But you get us on the water, and we're a brotherhood.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to make an amendment to the motion to the following. I'd like to see a modification, the modification on slip mix state that in addition to maintaining the minimum slip mix as set forth in Figure 4 as modified by staff, The county shall not approve any CDP application for renovation, replacement, reconstruction of existing anchorages, which would result in a net loss of wet slips in the 25 to 35-foot range, unless the reduction is directly attributable to mandatory ADA requirements or mandatory Department of Boating and Waterways safety requirements, and unless the county requires replacement of existing double slips with flexible slip configurations that can continue to accommodate a variety of boat lengths, with special attention to sailboats with fixed keels in the 25 to 35-foot range to the maximum extent feasible, and as demonstrated by each lessee or operator at the time of permit approval. In addition, I think the applicant has indicated that he will agree to amend the special condition specifically to provide that replacement slips will be available until in the larger length for as long as necessary until a slip is located. So,
but there are rules with regard to the pricing, and I think the county should probably respond to that.
Okay. Is someone going to? Thank you.
Who needs you?
Santos Fryman, Director of Beaches and Harbors. The pricing that we allow at Beaches and Harbors and for our marina, we do have price control language in our leases. And what happens is as part of that particular lease, there is a statement in there that talks about reasonable return on investment. And so what we do in order to make sure that the lessee is providing a reasonable rate for their slips, annually we conduct a survey that includes 60 miles of all the anchorages within a 60-mile radius. And we look at the prices for 30-foot slips, 25, 35, all the way up. And we compare that with the slip rates that are being charged by our operators. And if they fall within that particular range, then we believe that they're providing the slip at a market rate or a reasonable rate of return. And
the issues that we as a city have been dealing with in terms of the recommendations from our harbor master is this increasing the slip fees. And that is what has artificially, I think, raised the vacancy rate for us.
I think it was Commissioner McClure who said perhaps now we have an all accessible marina. My understanding of the county's offer was that it applied to those boats or those tenants that might be displaced by this current construction. So is the county's offer that no matter how big the slips are that you build, you will take someone rather than hold that larger slip open for? Is that your offer? Because if that's your offer, that would solve my problem.
that is precisely what we're suggesting.
Okay.
Commissioner Cram.
Yes, there was someone here who spoke about small boats. I just wanted to call you up for a second. I didn't catch your name. No, gentleman in the audience. You, sir. Yes. You talked about small boats, and you made a comment about how you were concerned, I guess, with the boats smaller than 20 foot, right? And
yes.
The availability
under 35. I'm sorry, Jon Nahhas.
And the trailerability of those boats and how many spots there are.
We have a considerable amount of our fleet. We have 62% of our fleet in Marina del Rey that are sailboats. Right. We have what are called fixed keels or full keels. They cannot be trailered, and they cannot be put in dry stack storage.
Below 20 foot, right?
Not below 20 foot. Now, below 20 foot is a different ball of wax, yeah. Mm. But the majority of these boats that are being taken out, there is no mitigation measure, meaning that we'd have to bring in full trussels to lift these boats out of the water, and there is no mitigation.
And the anchorages obviously don't accommodate enough boats.
Correct.
And so I was concerned about that exact issue, and I wanted to ask the county how they felt about that and how we address that.
Well, we don't agree with Mr. Nahhas's perception. Although you can fit, we have plenty of capacity and plenty of room based on the vacancy information that we provided.
Show him the largest dry stack storage in the United States. They stack 100-foot boats. When you take that boat out of the water, that water quality skyrockets. In my dream of Marina del Rey, and I know I'm not in charge of anything, but in my dream, what would happen if you took all the docks out of Marina del Rey? All of them. And built all the, the docks. Take all the docks out of Marina del Rey and put in artificial habitat for birds and other animals that could be in the water, so that you would have an absolute water park there and have the boats stored as in one of these projects that's in this plan. It would just be incredible.
Have previous commissions, the 2006 particularly, made statements regarding no more slip reductions?
Yes, that was the recommendation of the periodic review.
And the reason that you're changing that or proposing a change is?
It's simply not feasible given DBA guidelines, ADA standards, and also looking at the market. You know, are you going to have a slew of small slips that are just going to be vacant? We didn't think that, given the vacancy data that we were presented with, and we think it's credible, keeping a no net loss of slips policy would just mean there'd be a lot of small slips sitting vacant in our view. And that's why we went with this alternative policy, and we negotiated a bit with the county. We didn't accept what they initially brought in as a slip mix, and we pushed it to have a majority of slips in the smaller slip sizes and a large number, almost 40%, below 30 feet.
Staff is recommending that we adopt the loss of the smaller slips. Can we say at this point no more? And actually, because we have made a statement to the community, and I know that I understand what you're saying, but there are some artificial reasons why there are vacancies, and I still believe that, especially based on my experiences here. I'd like to make an amendment, and that is that per the agreement with the county and staff's agreement as well, that we add to the main motion that there will be no more slip reductions.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Okay, I was afraid of that.
The motion fails for lack of a second.
Okay, but I do want to say that it's not just what you said and what Commissioner Burke said. Commissioner Pat Kerr was there too, and there was a tape of him talking about the loss of slips. And this is real. And this policy that is being offered by the county, while I think it certainly is a good policy, it doesn't stop the loss of slips. Because yes, they can offer a slip, they can end up offering slips for a while, and then say, okay, we cannot afford this. This is not cost effective. This is not getting our lessee their return on their investment. So I will not be able to support the main motion because there was a promise made to the boaters, and this is a highly protected policy in Chapter 3 for affordable boating, and if we are not going to make that kind of a statement, then I can't support it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.